Hello, so my name's Cheryl Best, trained as a nutritional therapist and a yoga teacher, and I talk about health and wellness. And I'm laughing because if you've been listening to me for some of the last kind of few episodes that I've done of this podcast, I've been talking about how I'm currently battling with something called spinal stenosis, having issues with my back, my neck, and my lower back, and having issues with nerves as well. So, I've been kind of talking about how I've built up this kind of daily walking thing, daily walking where, I in February had a huge flare up that kind of like put me out for some months, and then from about maybe May, June time, I decided, well, okay, it's time to start doing some regular walking, see if I can get some movement back, and it's been going really well. And yeah, it's been going really well. But then last week I had an issue with numbness and issues with my nerves. And if you're a sufferer of spinal stenosis or issues with discs and with bulging discs or herniated discs, you get given the spiel about how if you're experiencing numbness or weakness in your legs or within your lower back or within the private areas, then you need to go to the emergency straight away. So that was me last week, and this has happened to me now twice this year, where I have complete weakness in my legs, mainly my left leg, and weakness as well in my left arm. That tends to be for me the left side. So went to the GP to say, look, I'm experiencing this, and it seems to be happening. I have been having this weakness mainly on my left arm, and it seems to be happening when I'm doing probably activities outside of my normal activities. That seems to be when I'm getting more weakness and numbness that's happening. So anyway, it was in my arm and leg. So then that alerted me that, okay, I think I need to go to the GP and see what he has to say about it. So I go to the GP, he puts the fear of God in me and then sends me straight to emergency. And I say the fear of God because actually the first time when this happened, and they mention, and it's called Cauda Equina, when they mention is Cauda Equina, it's really scary, Wasn't as scared this last time, but the first time I really was scared. And so when you start presenting with those types of symptoms, it is literally a rush to the emergency department, and yet it does feel like you're about to vomit your heart out, or even poo your heart out. It's really nerve-wracking, and it's nerve-wracking because you could either lose control of your bladder, or you could lose control of your bowels forever, and lose control of your legs. And then, of course, it's the other loss, which, I think you can probably guess what I'm talking about, but it's loss that, a lot of adults don't want to lose, where it's, the loss of sexual function as well. So all of that is going on in your head. And so I ended up in the emergency department in a bit of a panic, because the way that the GP puts it to you, it's like, you've got to go now, drop everything and get yourself to that emergency department right now. It's like, it's a huge rush. And then you get to the emergency department, and then because of the hustle and bustle of the emergency department, you then realise that your emergency actually isn't an emergency in comparison to other people and their emergencies. And, I ended up staying in A&E emergency for 22 hours before being discharged. So I had to have an MRI. MRI showed that there was no significant changes to what's going on with my spine compared to the last MRI, which I had probably about 2-3 months ago. So no change, and no rush of an operation to be needed. So no operation was needed, which is great. It's fantastic that I get to have control of my bladder and my bowels. I'm laughing, it's not funny at all, but I can control my bladder and my bowels. I can have control of my legs and of the other stuff as well. So because it is absolutely frightening. But even though I have answers in the sense that, okay, it's not Cauda Equina, I still have this issue with movement in my left leg and my left arm. And it's frustrating because I've been doing so well for the last few months, and it does feel like you get this kind of knock, this, bringing you back down again. And I've now resorted to not being able to walk very much because the leg isn't working very well. And I don't mind so much, and it sounds, I can't compare, but I don't mind so much if it's my arm. But when it's my leg, then it becomes kind of debilitating, because that's when it's affecting my movement, as in just walking or standing or carrying out things that I need to do for my family, and now having to rely on my family a lot. And if you're a type of person where you're quite an independent person, which I am, it can get quite disheartening when you're having to put your dependency on other people, even though they're my family and I love them. But it's just, I wish I want to do that myself. I don't really want to have to rely on my children or my partner to be doing these things. So it's very annoying, you know. And chronic conditions, it's so annoying because it's this kind of like yo-yo effect, where, you know, one day you're on the up and up and up, you know. And I've been having a lot of up days for the last few months, and it's been fantastic, you know, where I would start off with my, like, you know, started off with a few minutes of my walking, and then that led, you know, progressed to, you know, 2 walks a day for about 15 minutes each time, feeling absolutely fantastic and on top of the world, you know. And so you can have these days, and then you're very quickly brought down, you know, you're brought down, back down to earth. And I think the annoying part, which is kind of like what I'm going through now, because it's the questions as in, well, what did you do differently that's caused this to happen? What did you do the day before that's caused this to happen? And you're like, well, I haven't really done anything differently to what I've been doing. I mean, I've been teaching music, and sometimes the movements possibly that I'm doing there and I'm not realizing that I'm doing can then cause increased numbness. But at the time, you're feeling okay doing those particular movements. And so that's the part that can be so, like, annoying with it, because you just can't pinpoint what it is, the actual thing that has done it. So, you know, I was listening to something yesterday with this guy on YouTube, and he was saying that he, a lot younger than me, so in his 20s, but he was saying that he knew that he would get himself really good, and then it could be just something easy like tying your shoelaces that can just put your back out. And he was saying that that was one of the things that did it for him. You know, he was tying his shoelaces, and then it went again. And I have had those issues where, yeah, I've bent down maybe, or I've picked something up, and then it's like, okay, yeah, that's done it. You know, that's now causing issues with my neck. That's now causing issues with my back. But it's those things where you're not doing anything that's strenuous. You're not picking up anything that's heavy to cause any issues or any harm. And then trying to work out, what is it? Trying to figure it out. And you can't boil it down to anything, because you can't think of anything that you've done that's been particularly strenuous. So, you know, chronic illnesses. I mean, I've battled now with 2 other chronic illnesses, what I would call chronic. One was life-threatening. Other one was to do with hormones and things. And I won't let this get me down, you know, even though, you know, it can feel difficult, as in, you know, you're on this kind of up and down, like, trajectory of life where, like I said, you're on the up and up and up, and then something just comes along and knocks you back down again. And it feels like, you know, you're climbing steps, you know, climbing like 50 steps and feeling absolutely wonderful, which has been me for the last few months, because, like, yes, look how far I'm walking, and I'm feeling a lot of ease, especially in my lower back. So for the last few months, my lower back has been pretty good. A lot of my issues, mainly the daily issues, has been with my neck and my shoulders. I don't really enjoy when it's my lower back, because, like I said, that's more debilitating. Now, I have issues with bulging discs in my neck and also in my lower back. And it's not saying that I can cope with the neck, but I find when it's my lower back, then it's involving my leg, like I said, and, you know, you can't move and you can't do things, you know. And so, yeah, it's like you're brought up, you know, 50 steps, and that's what was happening with me doing these daily walks. I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. And then one day you're brought down 100 steps backwards, and then you're just thinking, you know, I'm feeling better today, but I've had a few days where I'm just like, what do I do now? Where do I go now? You know. And I'm sure, you know, I'm going to keep giving you tips and sharing my ups as well. I do believe in exercise. I do believe in nutrition. I do believe in natural remedies. And so I will keep feeding those things and updating you and let you know how I'm getting on. I will keep doing that. But I think with chronic illness, we do have to accept that there's going to be these down days, all these down weeks, all these down months, and we can't let those things get us down. So, you know, I'm at the stage now where I haven't been able to do my walking now for over a week. And I just have to face facts that I'm going to have to go back to the beginning and start with the 2-minute walk around the house. I've managed to get out today and drive, which has been, it's not as easy as it has been before, because there is weakness in my left leg. Struggled around the supermarket this morning. I'm just looking at that as a bit of exercise, and then I will just do little walks around my house and build myself back up again. You know, I'm going to climb back up again. And that's the thing with chronic illnesses, is that you can't live in this, for me anyway, you can't live in this world where you are continuously on the downer and making these down times stop you. You've got to keep battling through. And even though, I've suffered with chronic illnesses since the age of 15, and I would say from the age of about 22, I've been battling with chronic illnesses, and I've always just kept going, really. There's always knockdowns, and yeah, you just got to find a way of just like getting out of the slump. So I'm going to do it again. So, I'll creep back up. I'll get my way back up there. But maybe this is you. Maybe you feel like this as well, where, you might be going through, physical therapy, physiotherapy, and you're trying all the exercises, and it just feels like you're just going nowhere. Or you might feel fantastic, and then you do one thing and it's like, my back's gone again. Or it might be, another disease where you've tried, different things and different diets, or changing your lifestyle, and then it works for a while, and then something happens, and then it puts you back down again, which I've experienced that with other diseases as well. And with all of this stuff, whether it's, lifestyle changes, it does take time. You can't really expect to see results after even, a few weeks. It has to be, you have to give this thing months of time, possibly years of time. When it came to my other diseases, which is a hormonal disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and thyroid autoimmune disease called Graves' disease, it wasn't a matter of weeks or a few months where I could do these lifestyle changes and I saw these fantastic results. It took years. It was years. It was after, at least 2 years where, oh wow, then you're looking back at like where you were 2 years ago and you're like, wow, look where I've come. So yeah, you have to expect these ups and downs. But I get it. I don't want to act like, okay, I know I'm a therapist, I'm a yoga teacher, and I don't want to act like, oh, it's very easy and just keep doing this. But yeah, you will have those down days. I have those down days, and it doesn't matter how much meditation or whatever therapy that I'm doing to help, they're still there. It's still there. But we've got to keep going. We've got to keep striving, and we've got to have some optimism as well. We've got to live in that optimistic world, because I think if you keep having these pessimistic views on things, you won't go anywhere. You won't see any progress because you're not believing that you can achieve. So yeah, I'll finish it up there. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day, whether you're having up and up and up days, or whether you're having down, down, down days. Have a wonderful day. Anyway, you take care. Bye-bye.